Hello, Dr. Dorsey, and anybody else that's watching this. My name is Brian. This is going to be my final video presentation for my personal leadership development plan. I just want to take a few minutes today to kind of share the overall summation of what I've learned about my personal leadership style over the course of the semester, and kind of how I plan to use it to move forward. So, cover page, table of contents right here, and then we'll get right into the pre-course. So when I began this course, my pre-course assignment here revealed a stronger, more process-oriented philosophy of leadership, and I conscientiously rejected the kind of the great man trait emphasis, and I believe then, kind of like as I do now, that leadership is an experimental phenomenon, kind of defined by more practical capabilities, continuous interactions, and learned behavior, rather than fixed innate characteristics. However, the journey from that initial assessment to my final development plan has kind of really deepened my understanding of exactly which capabilities I lean on the most and which I need to actively cultivate even more so. So throughout the various assessments, a more distinct and highly consistent profile emerged. My leadership foundation is built heavily on interpersonal relationships and technical competence. Specifically, the more like trait leader member exchange assessment kind of confirmed that how my peers view me as more of an anchor, and allows me to build more high quality and mature partnerships based on a foundation of mutual trust. And while these interpersonal skills are tremendously valuable, um, exploring these kind of diverse leadership theories illuminated my own personal blind spots. This assignment, the behavioral approach assignment, and also the path goal assignment, highlighted my tendency to operate in a more supportive and participative style, closely aligning with more of like a country club type management. I learned that kind of over relying on nurturing behaviors has unintentionally crowded out my focus on production and kind of structure and more of those goal-directed leadership styles. So to become more versatile and a more effective leader, I do really need to learn to balance my high concern for people with more task-oriented, directive, and achievement-oriented behaviors. Furthermore, the skills and transformational leadership models kind of help provide a roadmap for my personal career progression. Currently, my strengths lie heavily in hands-on technical execution and kind of casting more transformational visions for the future. But if my goal is to ascend to higher executive levels, I need to actively seek out more experiences that force me to develop my conceptual skills, kind of stepping away from day-to-day details to tackle the more abstract strategic problems that affect long-term organizational growth. Finally, you have these transformational leadership and the authentic leadership assignments, which kind of highlight my most critical vulnerabilities. My external competence and relational transparency are lower than my actual competence and internal self-awareness. I have a tendency to naturally avoid social confrontation to keep the peace, and that often means I end up kind of hiding my true feelings. and inadvertently second guess myself along the way. So moving forward, my ultimate developmental goal is to match my more rich internal self-knowledge with my external vulnerabilities and assertiveness by intentionally kind of projecting my convictions with certainty, stepping into productive conflict rather than avoiding it, and standing firm on my core values. I can transition from being a highly supportive, competent manager to a truly authentic, well-rounded leader. And this course has kind of acted as a good mirror for me. It's given me a lot of hard numbers that I've been able to look at and really help quantify where my strengths are versus where my weaknesses are. And the insights that I've gained have given me a real practical roadmap for my future and my development as a leader. So thank you, and have a good day.